Hey, everybody. Welcome in to the Molasses Report. All right, so this week I've got a question. How many different versions of you have existed? Obviously, not physically, but how many lives could you have lived? I mean, think about it for a second. There's a version of you that accepted a different job, a version that stayed in your hometown, a version that never fell in love, a version that got married young, a version that became an artist, a version that became a lawyer, a version that took the leap, one that played it safe. Every decision you've ever made created two people, the one you became and the one you'll never meet. And we spend more time thinking about those people than we realize. We usually think regret comes from bad choices. I don't think that's always true, because sometimes the hardest choices are the right ones. You choose to leave the relationship. You choose to stay close to family. You turn down the dream job because the timing isn't right. You choose stability over excitement. Years later, you don't regret those choices. They were right for you in that moment. But you do wonder, who would I have become? Not because you want that life, but because curiosity has no expiration date. Every good decision leaves behind another possible life. Nobody tells you that growing up, every yes quietly creates 100 no's. You say yes to one city, every other city becomes a place you didn't live. You say yes to one job, dozens of careers disappear. Choose one weekend to go out and have fun, another memory never happens. Life isn't only built by the things we choose, it's built by everything we unknowingly leave behind. As children, our possibilities multiply. As adults, possibilities narrow. Not because life gets worse, but because our choices become permanent. People always say, go find yourself. I never really understood that, because where exactly are we supposed to look? Maybe we don't find ourselves, but we build ourselves. One conversation, one mistake, one heartbreak, one promotion, one bad decision, one unexpected opportunity at a time. Identity isn't hidden somewhere waiting to be discovered. It's something we're constantly creating. Sometimes that dream that we were chasing was never actually ours. Maybe it belonged to our parents. That's what they wanted for us. Maybe it belonged to social media. Maybe it belonged to the people that we wanted to impress. We inherit goals all the time. You have to own a home. You have to make six figures. You have to get married. You have to become successful. But you have to stop and ask, successful according to who? Borrowed dreams can look beautiful from the outside, but they're incredibly heavy to carry. You aren't just one person, you're hundreds of different people. I mean, your elementary school teacher remembers one version, your first boss remembers another, your college roommate remembers somebody completely different. Your parents know a version of you that your coworkers will never meet. Your best friend knows things that strangers never will. Someone out there still thinks you're 17. Someone else only knows the confident version you've become. It's impossible to control. People freeze everybody else in time. Meanwhile, we keep changing. And sometimes the hardest part isn't becoming somebody new, but it's accepting that not everyone gets to meet this version. One of the bravest sentences a person can say is, I changed my mind. We celebrate consistency, but sometimes consistency becomes prison. Maybe the career you wanted at 20 doesn't fit anymore. Maybe the city you've always dreamed of no longer feels like home. Maybe you've changed. Growth doesn't always look like moving forward. Sometimes it looks like turning around. Most people think they build their lives through giant decisions. Your life is built by an ordinary Tuesday. That conversation you almost skipped. That coffee shop you randomly walked into. That interview you almost canceled. The friend who wanted to introduce you to someone. The wrong turn. The delayed flight. Looking back, our lives rarely change because of one dramatic moment. They change because dozens of tiny ones we almost ignored. Life has a funny way of choosing us when we're busy trying to choose it. The future version of you doesn't exist yet. They're being built today, not by huge milestones, but by ordinary habits. Trying to save a little money, trying to go to the gym, reading instead of scrolling on Instagram, walking outside. Just by being kind. Tiny actions repeated over years become personalities. One day, someone will describe you as generous, as confident, as reliable. But none of those happen overnight. One of the big surprises here is discovering nobody actually knows what they are doing. Not completely, at least. The people who seem confident still have doubts. The people who seem successful still wonder if they're enough. Maturity isn't having all the answers. It's becoming comfortable asking better questions. Instead of asking, what if this goes wrong? Ask, what if I can handle whatever happens? Because confidence isn't certainty, it's trust. And there's something both sad and beautiful about time. You can revisit places, you can reconnect with old people, you can even return to old jobs. But you'll never return as the same person. The beach from your childhood isn't different. You are. Your hometown didn't shrink, but your perspective grew. The songs still sound the same, but you hear different lyrics now. We spend so much time wishing we could go back, but the point was never to go back. The point was to carry the best parts along. And maybe the most interesting person you'll ever meet isn't someone else. It's the version of you. The version that appears when you stop performing, when you stop comparing, when you stop chasing goals that were written by somebody else. Maybe becoming yourself is less about adding things and more about removing them. The expectations, the comparisons, the pressure, the noise, until all that's left is someone who feels like home. You'll never meet every version of yourself, and that's okay. Because life was never about walking every road. It's about walking one with intention. The people you'll never become aren't failures. They're evidence that your life contained possibilities. And maybe that's something worth being grateful for. Because every version of you that disappeared made room for the one who's listening today. This has been the Molasses Report. If today's episode made you think about a version of yourself you almost became, Send it to someone who's known you throughout your different chapters of life. Then ask yourself one question tonight. If I met the person I became in 10 years, would they be proud of the choices I'm making today? That's all for this week. I'll see you next time.